Welcome everyone to Guardians of Tyr. My name's Barry, and on today's game of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions we have a best of 3 match between Order's Idoneth Deepkin versus Death containing vampires and mordants. So I've got a Lokian Prince, a Lotan Aspect to the Sea and an Isheran Soul Render versus Skeleton Champion, Abhorrant Ghoul King, Crypt Infernal Courtier and another Abhorrant Ghoul King. So Mike won the toss. He draws 4 cards, I draw 5. And away we go. So, Opportunity Strike, normally that's 2 damage, increased by 3 because I've got no units, and then the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings plus another 2 damage, so 7 damage in total because that came through the Crypt Infernal Courtier. A Freakish Crypt Horror goes into play, so corners 2 and 4 he gains a health and does some damage. I put a Warding Light into play, and on the 3rd corner I gain health and deal damage. So 1 damage to me and 1 health back because of the Freakish Crypt Horror. Charging Black Knight into play, so next turn it will do 2 damage and it will remove a unit in the opposite lane. So Mike is controlling my Lotan so I don't get a beast out. So 2 damage from the Charging Black Knight, no damage from the Freakish Crypt Horror. So I should have rotated my Warding Light, so in my haste to draw cards to fill my hands I completely forgot, so I'll correct that bit. Frightful Strike, 5 damage, normally 3 but plus 2 because it's going through the Abhorrant, because of the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings. A secondary effect doesn't go off because my Aspect to the Sea is more points than the Crypt Infernal Courtier. So Warding Light, I gain 4 health, do 4 damage to Mike. So Enraged Alapex goes into play. So normally 1 damage, but it's 2 damage because the Charging Black Knight dealt damage on that lane. I thought that Lotan would increase the damage, but the Alapex is not an elf unit. Sweeping the Marty Thrall goes into play, normally 1 damage, but Lotan, because he controls a beast, he pluses the damage on an elf unit, puts it to 2, and the Skeleton Champion is under 2 cost, so it gets another one, so 3 in total. So 2 damage from the Freakish Crypt Horror and 2 health back. Feasting Vargeist goes into play, so corners 1 and 2 it'll gain a health, and on the 3rd corner it'll draw 2 cards. So Sweeping the Marty Thrall does 3 damage, and the Alapex should only do 2. So another Warding Light. So on the 3rd corner I shall get some well needed health back and deal 4 damage. 1 health back through the Feasting Vargeist, and the Freakish Crypt Horror goes away. So we've got another Freakish Crypt Horror going into play. So corners 2 and 4 gain to health, deals damage. Devour played, so removes my Sweeping the Marty Thrall, and you have to take a unit back from the discard pile because you have to fulfill everything on the card, or as much as possible anyway. So 1 more turn until my Warding Light goes off. So I pass all my actions and draw 2. Feasting Vargeist will draw 2 cards, and Freakish Crypt Horror will deal 1 damage to me, and Mike will gain 1 health. 7 damage through opportunity strike, normally 2, goes up to 5 because I've got no units, and the Abhorrant Ghoul King's plus 2 damage. So I'm actually just having to think about where his skeleton warriors are going. So skeleton warriors, normally 1 damage, but because of the support he goes up to 2. So he triggers, completes his quest for the skeleton champion and reveals necromantic bloodline. So when his Abhorrant Ghoul Kings deploy spells, he'll draw corners up to the value on the clunky corners on that blessing. So Warding Light goes off, completes the quest for Aspects of the Sea, and I get Savage Loyalty. So now I just need to get some beasts into play so I can start dealing damage. Triumphant Smash, get rid of that Feasting Vargeist. That triggers Isheran's Soul Render's ability, so when he removes a unit, I can take a elf unit from my discard pile and put it into play. So my Sweeping Namati Thrall comes out, deals 1 damage. I don't get the bonus this time because the Ghoul King is over 2 points. So Biovoltaic, Morsar Guard goes into play. Nothing for the first 2 corners, and then 3 damage on the third. 1 damage from the Skeleton Warriors because of the support. So Warding Light leaves play. I deal 1 damage. So the Skeleton Warriors dealt 1 damage to me, and I forgot about Savage Loyalty, so we're just clearing that up now. So I dealt 1 damage from Savage Loyalty and 1 damage from the Sweeping Namati Thralls. So Swift Namati Reaver goes into play, normally 1, but because Lotan controls a beast, an elf unit gets extra damage. And I'll put Inspired Glory into play, so if Mike deploys under the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings, then I'll draw 2 cards, or I'll exhaust it to gain health. 1 damage from the Skeleton Warriors, 1 damage back from Savage Loyalty. Curse Strike does 5 damage to me because of the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings. And it will take 1 damage back from Savage Loyalty because it's damage from enemies. Mike plays Heroic Act, deals 1 damage to me from Crypt, Infernal Courtier, and takes game 1. So well done, Mike. So I need to get some revenge for game 2 and pull myself back into this match. Okay, so game 2. Let's see if I can get some payback. So we're still good friends. We can still shake each other's hands. So Lokian Prince in Lotan, Aspect of the Sea, and an Isheran Soul Render versus Skeleton Champion, Abhorrant Ghoul King, Crypt Infernal Courtier, and an Abhorrant Ghoul King. So, as we've seen before, Mike's got lots of abilities that trigger off of the Ghoul King to deal lots of damage. So, Ravenous Crypt Ghoul going in. So, a very hard hitting unit. So, corners 2, 3, and 4 ramp up the damage. And he's putting a Charging Black Knight in again. So second corner he's going to deal 2 damage and remove a unit if it's in the opposite lane. So again he's controlling Lotan, stopping me from putting a beast out. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Fill my hand, give me some options. 1 damage from the ghouls. 2 damage from the Charging Black Knight. Another Ravenous Crypt Ghoul going in, so another hard hitting unit. So there we go, there's my big beastie. Raise your shell, Leviathan, and then smash him with the Jaws of Death, doing 5 damage straight away. So 2 damage coming from Ravenous Crypt Ghoul and 1 damage from the other one. Just clearing that up with the ability I used to do the second quest. Feasting Vargeist gets his health back again. Health on the first two corners, cards on the third. So Leviathan rotates. So now I can start dealing out some damage. Jaws of Death again, so another 5 damage there. And then Heroic Act on the Razor Shell Leviathan. Normally it's 6 damage, but because it's under low tan, it deals 7 damage because it also counts as an elf. So I've certainly pulled it back this turn. So 3 damage from the Crypt Ghoul and another 2 from the other Crypt Ghoul. 1 health back because of the Feasting Vargeist. Skeleton Warriors, basic stacking unit, does 2 damage because of the stack, 1 normally, 1 for the stack. So Mike's going to draw. Razor Shell's not going to do anything this turn, so Sweeping the Marty Thrall goes in. Normally 1 damage, 2 damage because of low tan, and the Skeleton Warrior costs under 2, so it does another one. So 3 damage from that. Hit my quest on Loki and Prince. So 1 damage from the Skeleton Warriors, 2 cards from the Feasting Vargeist, and 3 damage from the Crypt Ghouls. So Mike's certainly winning the race at the minute. So Claws of the Grave goes in, so next rotation it will hit the topmost unit, so that Charging Black Knight will do 2 damage. Another Skeleton Warrior goes in, 2 damage. 1 for the Skeleton Warrior, 1 for the support. So 3 damage from my Sweeping the Marty Thralls. Heroic Act for the Leviathan does 8 damage because it's under low tan. So he's got 3 health left. Second action, Enraged Alapex. He dealt damage from the Ravenous Crypt Ghouls. So normally 1 damage, it goes up to 2. And I've evened the matchup. So, all to play for going into match 3. Both of our decks are capable of bursts of high damage. It's now a case of who can get out of the gates first. May the best elf win. Okay, so game 3, the decider. So, my Lokian Prince, Low Tan, Aspect to the Sea, and Isharan Soul Render versus Mike's Skeleton Warrior, Abhorrant Ghoul King, Crypt Infernal Courtier, and Abhorrant Ghoul King. So we're still friends, we still shake hands. Inspired Glory, so I can try and draw some cards or gain health. Opportunity Strike comes out, so 7 damage because it's going through the Crypt Infernal Courtier. Frightful Strike, 5 damage, so Mike's just dealt 12 damage in the first turn, so not the greatest starts. So, but we've got some health. We can pop Inspired Glory and get some health back. So 2 health back. We did the Heroic Act on Inspired Glory. Gives me 2 health, but it totally exhausts the spell. So Mike's just going through the card, inquiring what's going on because I've never used that against him before. And then Warding Light, so I gain health and deal damage on my third corner. So let's claw back some health. Ravenous Crypt Ghoul going in for Mike, so that's his big steady damage unit. One damage. He should have rotated that Skeleton Champion really, because okay, Frenzied Vargeist goes in, so next turn he'll deal 1 damage. He'll remove a highlighted unit in front of it, and if he does, he'll gain an additional action. Claws of the Grave goes into play as well, but there's no topmost unit, so that will do nothing next turn. So Warding Light goes off. There we go. So I've rattled through Aspects of the Seas quest pretty quick, and I've got Blessed Weapons. I just need to get some units down to deal extra damage. So I'm going to put my Swift Namarti Reaver in. So normally it does 1 damage, but Blessed Weapons hits it as well, so it does 3. So the Blessed Weapons has got a clunky corner, so it's every time I deal damage. So it's not like I'm against the clock on the Blessed Weapons. I'm just on the clock against Mike's damage deck. So 1 damage from the Frenzied Vargheist and 3 damage from the Ravenous Crypt Ghoul. So next turn, Claws of the Grave will hit that will hit the Feasting Vargheist and take away my Swift Namati Raider. Mike's drawn 2. So Warding Light leaves. So another 3 damage from a Raider, thanks to Blessed Weapons. So I'm clawing it back. There's not that much between us at the minute, considering the start I had. So Biovoltaic Morsar Guard. So does nothing for the first 2 rotations, and then on the third it will do 3 damage. But it does trigger my Lotan. So Ekelund Barrier Guard. It reduces damage by 3 for those 2 lanes, and then next turn it will deal 3 damage. So we're just talking about Claws of the Grave and how Feasting Vargheist interacts with it. So the Frenzied Vargheist is removed first, then you trigger effects. So Claws of the Grave then triggers the Frenzied Vargheist that's the top of the pile, so 1 damage removes my Raider. He then gets an additional action, so he's on 3 actions this turn. So another Claws of the Grave going in, and that Ravenous Crypt Ghoul will be in the bin by then. And then a Frightful Strike, so he does 5 damage thanks to the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings either side of the Crypt Infernal Courtier. So 3 damage from the Barrier Guard. Doesn't get the benefit of Blessed Weapons because he's in the wrong lane. Jaws of the Death, because the Morsar Guard is a beast, so 5 damage there. Clicks through Lotan. So next turn my Blessed Weapons will go off on the Morsar Guard, and then Warding Light goes into play to try and get some really needed health. So 3 damage from Claws of the Grave, thanks to the Ravenous Crypt Ghoul being in there. Charging Black Knight, so next turn he'll do 2 damage and remove a unit that's in the opposite lane. So normally 3 damage, 4 damage because of Lotan, and then 7 damage because of Blessed Weapons. So that was a nice big hit. So I've pulled it back again, we're pretty even. 2 damage from the Charging Black Knight, and then 3 damage from Claws of the Grave. So Opportunity Strike goes in, normally 2 damage, but it goes up to 4 because of the Abhorrant Ghoul Kings. So well done, Mike. Death win. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. All the feedback's welcome, and I'll hopefully bring you another game soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.